So let it be written, so let it be done. This is Tabletop Terrors, and I used to hoard my creative processes like gold. I thought they were the most important thing, and, I thought that they were the thing that set me apart, was the way that I would write something, or the, method that I discovered to name stuff. So I am reformed. I want to say that as well, that I have changed quite a bit, and I do share my processes. And the way that I personally worked through that helped me, and this is my tip, it can be easier to share your creative process with a piece of work you actually made using the process. Because then, at least for me, credit where credit is due is very important to me as a person. That's part of just how I'm wired. The joke in Absolute Tabletop is that I'm the credit archon. And it doesn't just mean that I am seeking credit, but I will make sure someone else has credit, or I will it's very important to me. And that might not be important to other people, but the processes themselves are easier and became easier for me to share when I would say, here is an encounter, and it's this cool encounter. Then share the process that I used to make the encounter, so that I could kind of show the thing that I made with it. And for me, I don't know what it was about it, but having that made it a lot easier. So if you're afraid that your process is some kind of big secret, make something cool that gets a little bit of recognition so that people care about the process, but then share it so that you can have those things kind of paired. And the process, I learned, isn't really secret sauce like I thought it was. I found out that people tended to like the encounter that I made when I share the process. It's like this weird behind the scenes thing. So that's my tip. Don't be afraid to do it.
For me personally, I come from a background of programming. I say background like I grew up programming on computers, but my job right now and have for the last 7 years has been programming. And the reason I bring that up is because you have programming languages, and it's sort of just syntax, the things you need to make it work. And then there's this entirely other separate subset of things called design patterns that are how to make programs in a way that is very helpful. And these things are, while you can buy them in books, I mean, they're freely available online. You go, okay, well, I want to make a program that does this, this, and this. Somebody goes, oh, well, here's the best way to do that because here are all the problems. So for me, it's completely alien to hide those ideas, mostly because, one, I'm not one of the people that's coming up with these design patterns and sharing them with others. So I've never had something I felt was oh my gosh, I need to protect this. But I've also, from the other side, been a lot of the things I've made have been made so much better because others shared their process. And so it's just important to remember that sharing your process makes it better for someone else. It's not about you. They can't use your process against you really in any way that I can think of, but any person can use your process to make their thing better. And the process very rarely is so intertwined that it makes the content the same. Basically, to me, there's absolutely no harm. Like you said, Tim, it's not the secret sauce. And I feel lucky enough to be in a sector where that is the norm. And so it's almost alien to me, people that go, oh, no, I don't want you to know how I made that. And I'm like, no, that's the part that makes me able to make something cool too. So share your processes because it's making everything else better. You're stopping that train if at any point you go, no, I've come up with this cool thing and nobody can see it. I'm like, well, yeah, but you came up with that probably because of what somebody else shared, and that's not so fair, So I think it's very important to share your processes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's important to acknowledge just the honest fact that most of the time that people have that impulse to hoard what they do, the way that they do the things that they do, is because they're scared that if they let go of those things, that other people will be able to do the same thing that they do, but better, or that it'll make them less special, or, and it's okay to be scared of that, but at the same time, I think that fear is not one that we can let hold us back, because at the end of the day, our ideas and our creative expression is not our processes. our ideas don't stem from those processes. They stem from the entire collective of our unique individual experience. And there's no replicating that. So even if you use this certain way to name things, or you have this way of creating an encounter or whatever that's really cool to you, and you think makes your encounter special, it's only one of millions of unreplicatable things that also make your encounters unique and special. And it's also important to note that the more that people start to begin being open with the way that they share their own processes and let people know kind of the behind the scenes of how they make their own stuff, the more that this information starts to become accessible by a lot of different creators, the more that it also helps you. Because if you can share something that you do that's really cool and interesting, and somebody else shares something that they do that's really cool and interesting, if their thing is new to you, you get to learn from them and you get to make cooler, better stuff because they shared that with you. So instead of kind of treating creativity as a competitive thing where everyone has their own secrets that make them better or special, if everybody shares all those things collectively, for one, it just becomes a lot less hostile of an environment. Everyone kind of gets to help each other become better. And you get access to dozens, if not hundreds, of secret techniques that everybody else has that they might have been scared to share with you. And sometimes you being the person to offer up first and say, no, I'm willing to share. I'm willing to let people in on my secrets, my inner techniques for doing these things. The more that other people might then also be able to say like, oh, actually, you have this really cool way of doing tables. I have this other thing that I do with tables. Here's what I do. So now we can both do both of those things and have both of our tables be even better. And yeah, it just kind of becomes a feedback loop of positive and sharing, techniques, and everybody benefits from that. Everybody becomes better creators who have more tools to express their own unique views on creativity and their ideas because they have access to more ways of doing so.
So tell us in the comments something that maybe you've withheld. What's your secret sauce? What's your thing? Let's put this into practice. And I know that that's probably going to be tough and even could take a little while because it's text, but put a little bit in there. Share that spicy mustard, as they say. No one says that. I said that just now for the first time ever, but that's my technique off the dome. No, the point is, if you are open and you don't have anything that you've been hoarding, maybe share a really cool technique that you learned from somewhere else. That would also be another fun thing to put in the comments. But we're Tabletop Terrors. We love fun, creativity, and tabletop games. And if you like that sort of stuff, consider liking this video and subscribing because this is pretty much all of our videos are quick tips and a deep dive on one topic. So if you like this, stick around. I think we'll end it with a Tabtarian toast.
May you mend the first break.
May you kill the first snake.
May you conquer everything you undertake.
I had to. I tried not to, and then I had to. I used to hoard stupid processes, things that people would not be interested in, which is ridiculous to think about. But at the time, I'm like, no, the way I name something is doing it this way, and I'm like, who cares? Everyone also has their own way that they like, just like everything else in our lives. It's like, just because I learn how someone else drives to their job doesn't mean that I'm going to change the way that I drive to my job. This is a terrible example because we wouldn't be going to the same place. But that's my process. It's just doing it wrong all the time. And now you can too.